Coming up on Eyewitness News, in custody, Boston is returning to normal 24 hours after one of the largest manhunts in U.S. history. Shots fired. Find out why 3 men are in the hospital. And a large piece of American history flew into Tallahassee this week. We'll tell you all about it. Eyewitness News at 11 starts right now.
This is Eyewitness News at 11, North Florida and South Georgia's #1 source for news for over 50 years. Coverage you can count on.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Garen Flowers. James Buckley has the night off. The suspect in the Boston Marathon bombings is in serious condition and still has not been charged. People around Boston are trying to get their lives back to normal while investigators continue to search for clues about why and how the suspects planned and executed the bombings. Adriana Diaz has more in our top story.
Police are standing guard outside of the Boston hospital where the
3 people were killed in the bombing and more than 180 injured. An MIT police officer also died when he encountered the suspects Thursday night. Locals watched as the massive manhunt for the Boston Marathon bombing suspect came to an end. As we mentioned, 19-year-old Joe Harsarniev was captured. He had been on the run since early Friday morning. Many were happy to see the suspect taken alive.
There's no answers. When someone's just shot or dead, like there's no peace at mind of why they did what they did, and to me, killing someone can be a lot easier than having them suffer and sit in prison.
3 Lowndes County residents ran in the Boston Marathon. All are back home with no injuries. Over in the Sunshine State, Floridians are breathing a sigh of relief now that an arrest has been made. We spoke to one man who says his father ran in this year's Boston Marathon and crossed the finish line about 10 minutes before the bombs went off. He says he's proud of the way the authorities and people of Boston reacted to this tragedy.
I think it's commendable. It shows a real dedication. I think it's going to go a long way in making the people of Boston feel more comfortable.
And stay with WCTV for the latest on the Boston Marathon bombing. The oldest race in Tallahassee was held today and was dedicated to the people out in Boston. It's called the Palace Saloon 5K. This was the 39th running of the event. The race started at James Messer Field in Tallahassee and ended at the Palace Saloon, a local bar. All the runners signed a banner that read, "Boston, we are with you." The banner will be sent to the Boston Athletic Association. The event featured a record of more than 1,000 people completing 3.1 miles. 3 people are recovering after a shooting early Saturday morning in Tallahassee. The shooting happened around 12:30 in front of 1037 Harlem Street. Tallahassee police have not identified the victims and are saying little about what happened, but police expect all 3 of them to survive. Anyone with information is asked to call the Tallahassee Police Department. Their number is 850-891-4200. A local Barnes & Noble was evacuated after a fire caused heavy smoke to engulf the store. The Tallahassee Fire Department says the call came in around 10:30 this morning. When they arrived, they found smoke inside the bookstore located at the Tallahassee Mall along Monroe Street. Fire officials say there was also smoke emitting from the roof, which made them believe the cause of the fire could have been related to the venting system.
Upon further inspection, it seemed as though there's an AC unit that has a burnt out motor. So right now we're still investigating at the time.
Fire officials say damages to the building are minor, and thankfully no one was injured. Thousands of people came out for the Sewanee Festival at the Spirit of the Sewanee Music Park. Eyewitness News reporter Ames Yates caught up with the artists backstage.
Music was definitely in the air at the 8th annual Sewanee Festival, which was founded by the Allman Brothers Band.
I will definitely be back every year. It's my first time. I love it.
Close to Witness News.
Looks like a lot of fun. The Sewanee Music Festival was first held in 2005 and has since grown into the largest music festival in Sewanee County. It began on Wednesday and ends tonight. Tents were lined up all over Clement Plaza to celebrate Tallahassee's Pride Festival. The festival recognizes diversity and social contributions of the LGBT community. It took over downtown with games, bounce houses, and a DJ playing catchy tunes. Dozens of local businesses and community groups showed their pride as well. The free event had animal adoptions and fun activities for all. Tallahassee celebrated its 13th annual Lemoyne Chatham Parks Art Festival today. Hundreds came downtown for the event. The festival showcases more than 150 artists from across the country at the city's downtown chain of parks. This year's event also included musical acts, local theater, as well as food. Organizers say the event draws in tens of thousands of people from across the Big Bend area.
It gives us an opportunity to show our work, and certainly Tallahassee has always been receptive to the arts.
I like the jewelry, all the handmade jewelry, but I'm sure once I eat something, that'll be my favorite part.
The two-day event continues tomorrow from 10 to 5 p.m. And a big festival also took place over in Madison County. Take a look at some photos from the event. It's called the Downtown Home Days. The festivities started yesterday and continued to 10 this morning with a parade. There was food, crafts, and different vendors. The Madison Chief of Police led the parade and estimated there to be about 5,000 people downtown. This is an annual festival sponsored by the Greater Madison County Chamber of Commerce. A piece of history flew into Tallahassee this week. A P-51C Mustang aircraft was on display at the Tallahassee Airport. It was part of the second annual Red Tails project. The event takes a look at the history and legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen. They were America's first black military pilots and flew during World War II. Some of the airmen say they hope people learn from the exhibit and that it's important to treat everyone equally.
To not be denied a right or the opportunity to accomplish anything that you set out would like to accomplish.
Organizers say last year's event drew more than 2,000 people. Today marks the 3rd anniversary of the BP oil spill. Coming up, we'll show you how the region is recovering. Also, the man accused of sending letters embedded with poison to government officials appears in court.
Good evening, everyone. We had a cold front sweep through our area this morning. It's now cleared out of our region, but with that is coming some cooler temperatures. It might be
3 years ago today, the worst oil spill in U.S. history began unfolding in the Gulf of Mexico. The Deepwater Horizon oil rig exploded, killing 11 people on April 20th, 2010. The government says almost 5 million barrels of oil spilled into the Gulf before BP was able to plug the gushing well. A federal court ordered Transocean, the company that owned the rig, to pay $400 million in damages in February. That's the second largest environmental fine in U.S. history. Cleanup efforts are underway in North Georgia after a tornado hit 2 counties there yesterday. The EF2 twister plowed through Newton and Morgan counties, leaving behind more than 7 miles of damage. Liz Arts spoke with some of those affected.
1:15 Friday afternoon, an EF2 tornado hit the small Newton County town of Mansfield.
It was horrifying. It was that close and that bad.
Brandon Hayes watched.
Authorities say an elderly woman was trapped in a collapsed building and had to be extricated. She was taken to a nearby hospital with minor injuries. A Mississippi man accused of sending toxic letters to the president gets his day in court. Attorneys for the U.S. government and those representing Kevin Curtis argued for 3 hours in court yesterday over whether or not he should be allowed to go home or stay in jail until the trial begins. Curtis is charged with sending ricin-laced letters to President Obama and Senator Roger Wicker. Curtis's hearing continues on Monday. Aftershocks struck China after a powerful earthquake which killed at least 160 people. Survivors were found in the rubble in the Sichuan province in southwestern China. A baby was still alive underneath a wrecked building as a pregnant woman waited for help. More than 6,000 people are reported injured. The U.S. Geological Survey puts the quake's magnitude at 6.6. In 2008, another quake along the same fault line killed more than 90,000 people. How long will this cool April weather last? Meteorologist Lindsay Day is up next with your full forecast.
WCTV.tv.
All right, Lindsay Day is joining us, and I got to step outside for a few minutes, and things seem to have cleared up a bit.
Yeah, we started with some clouds, but then as the afternoon progressed, a good amount of sunshine, and I'm glad you got to go outside and enjoy that sunshine, Karen. Just a little. That's all you need, just a little sunshine in your day, and that puts a smile on your face. But we did have some clouds, especially.
Well, I'm glad to hear clear skies for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I'm glad you're happy about that.
So am I.
All right, Jason with sports.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Florida State baseball trying to get a couple of wins today against Virginia. They need those wins because Virginia is a playoff-tested team, very good, top 10 matchup. We'll find out how they did coming up. Plus, if you weren't here earlier today, a former Lady Seminole has fallen. We'll have the details and that story next. Obviously, a lot of emotions today, especially in Boston, or just even as a Boston organization being somewhere else. Fans definitely backing them and supporting them.
It's great to see the support that the country has for Boston and Boston's teams out there.
Absolutely.
All right, coming up, one family gets the surprise of a lifetime. We'll have the heartwarming reunion when we return. Some local residents walked miles to cure diabetes, while one family got the surprise of their lives. James Miller, who is on a leave of absence from his tour of duty in Afghanistan, embraced his son and daughter for the first time in months. The U.S. soldier drove miles to see his children after his plane was grounded. Miller's son, Gabriel, lives with type 1 diabetes, and every year they join the fight to find a cure. Now, guys, I don't know about you, but every time I hear a story about a soldier coming home, especially when they get to visit their family, is always the most amazing story.
Yeah, it's so touching. Right here, it kind of brings me to tears just seeing that because, that reunion is always an amazing thing.
Exactly. They do so much for our country, and to be able to see them come back and get that warm reception is always a great thing.
I completely agree. Each time you see it, it's like seeing it all over again for the first time. Good stuff.
So what weather is he coming back to?
Some good stuff, actually. A little bit cool for tomorrow morning, but we do warm up nicely tomorrow into the mid-70s. We are expecting more clouds, only slight rain chances over the next couple of days, and as we head into our work week, we have some warming temperatures. We're heading back to the 80s.
Thank you. I'm excited. I'm glad to hear it's going to get back warm, even though a nice chill is okay. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's good to switch it up, right?
Very good to switch it up, yeah. So thank you. All right, and you never have to wait for news, weather, and sports. It is available all the time on WCTV.tv. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
When building